Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, and yeah, the Archers Guild. We reached level 30 with the Archer, finished the class quest for the Archer, so there is a job to get. A song of bards and bowmen. Well met, Serenia. Would that we had time for banter, but we're all up in arms here. Yet another excellently dirigible has been spotted over the Twelveswood, you see? Their reappearance calls to mind the Battle of Griffin's Crossing. Well, I say battle. Most are agreed that massacre would be rather more apt. The XL did us a crushing defeat that day, right around this time of year. It was more than 2 decades past. A humiliating episode in our history, to be sure, but heaven forbid that we ever forget it. Failure is the finest, if not the kindest of teachers, and few things drive a woman better than its sting. But let's speak of cheerier matters. Maybe you've already heard, but a renowned archer has recently returned to the Twelveswood. The one they call the Godsbow. That's just a title, of course. His birth name is Jehantel, and he was once of a godsquiver. The man was a legend even then, and there was no honor greater than being taken under his tutelage. But that's not all there is to him, mind you. Jehantel was also a skilled bard, one of a rare few capable of inspiring others to great feats through song. Upon learning that the Godsbow has returned, dozens of us flocked to him in hopes of training under a legend, yours truly included. Alas, the meetings haven't unfolded quite as we had hoped. Jehantel has refused to teach each and every suitor that has approached him thus far. Though it should be mentioned that the topics he is reluctant to instruct us in do not include poetry and song. He seems exceedingly keen to teach us all about them. Some few of us were tempted to take him up on the offer, save that we have a nation to defend. Far be it from my intent to belittle all those bards out there, but I like my chances rather better charging into battle with a quiver than a harp. And here we were hoping that transcendent mastery of a bow might be ours. By the sparkle in your eyes, I waited till you have an interest in the self-same poetry and song. Come now, there's no call for shyness, and there is more to life than battle. If you present yourself as a pupil to Jehantel, I happen to know his whereabouts. I'm given to understand he has made his camp somewhere west of Quarry Mill in the South Shroud. Jehantel is an agreeable sort of fellow and should be willing enough to meet with you. Truth be told, I still hope if you could find a way into Jehantel's confidence, maybe we can yet be persuaded to train us. I wish you the best of luck, friend. So, this is Quarry Mill. I never guessed. You are kind to pay me visit, young one. Naught else gives elderly folk more pleasure than the company of the young. Add to that a steaming pot of tea and the beauty of a Twelveswood, and we could want for little more. But the curl in your lip tells me that tea and scenery were not what you desire. You seek knowledge of archery, I take it? In which case, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. Serenia, was it? Yes, I'm Jehantel, the one they call the Godsbow, but that was in another life. I have long cast aside my bow, taking instead a harp to my breast. For years I have lived as a bard, going wherever the wind blows, exulting in the beauty of creation through song. To be sure, I still have the eyes to recognize a promising archer when I see one. And you, young one, have promised. Keep your nose to the grindstone, and one day you may count yourself a virtuoso of a bow. Yet know that virtuosity is worthless without virtue. Aye, the words of a ballad of a vainglorious fool tells us this much. You truly wish to remain and learn poetry and verse? Well, I must admit to be rather taken aback. In uncertain days such as these, there are few indeed who would devote their time to song as opposed to more tangible endeavors. You intrigue me, young one. I find myself growing curious as how the melodies of old might find expression through you. I do believe a certain friend of mine would be of the self-same opinion. Aye, that would be as good a place as any for us to begin. Listen well, Serenia. There is a Moogle named Puknopoki who can often be found wandering in areas situated east of here. I would have you present yourself to him. Puknopoki is possessed of a discerning eye for talent. If he sees potential in you, I should be well satisfied that you indeed have the makings of a bard. Heed me, a puissant Altic. Turn thee over the hourglass of time that we might gaze upon the battles of yore. Yeah, I know this is supposed to be a song, but I have no idea how it's supposed to go. And I'm a terrible singer. In fact, I would make a terrible bard in real life. How could this have happened? It's just so embarrassing. A blunder for the ages, Kupo. You understand what I'm saying, don't you? That's a rare talent, I allow, but you've caught me at a bad time, Kupo. Now be a good adventurer and show yourself out. Jehantel sent you? You should have said so sooner, Kupo. You do know that Jehantel is no ordinary bard, yes? His songs can salve your heart and strengthen your resolve. They can banish your fears and fill you with hope. And that's not even scratching the surface. Why, to hear him perform is like bathing in sunbeams, Kupo. I've asked, begged and pled more times than I care to count for Jehantel to stay and sing in the forest. Only now has he deigned to set foot here again. But he's refusing to sing for us. That's a blatant breach of promise, Kupo. But what's this? Your being resonates with a chord similar to Jehantel's. Perhaps even identical, Kupo. By the 12, this means that things may yet turn out as planned. Why, you might even have it in you to surpass the man. And that's saying a lot, Kupo. Egats, you're coming at me so excited my predicament and I escaped my mind. There's a charm that I had meant to give Jehantel, you see, and it was stolen as I napped. Kupo, I roused just in time to espy the thief and attempted to give chase. Alas, drowsiness robbed me of my balance. I was delayed by this tree. Last I saw that overbold brigand, he, or possibly she, was scurrying toward Taker's route. Taker's what? Kupo. Now I realize we've only just met, but would you mind recovering the charm and delivering it to Jehantel in my stead? Sneak in. Yeah, I fit. Ooh. Ah, dang it. Okay. Have you recovered the charm? This one? You dear Kubo, please, you must now deliver it to Jehantel. Tell him that Pugnapoki thinks him a cunning rogue, but is excited nonetheless. So excited, in fact, that he cannot help but sing. Kupolololololo. Welcome back, Serenia. You have a charm and a message from me from Pugnapoki, you say? A cunning rogue, am I? I suppose I must explain. Pugnapoki and I go a long way back. To when first I took up the harp. I made a promise to him then, one that I have yet to make good on. Pugnapoki has long desired that I remain at the Twelveswood to sing for the rest of my days. Regrettably, I have been ill able to oblige him. Duty called, you see. I had battlefields to stand upon and comrades to protect. Moreover, an event came to pass that rendered my being at the Twelveswood problematic. I thought that by taking eager souls such as you under my wing, mayhap it would suffice to appease Pugnapoki. Of course, he saw straight through my little ruse. What the Moogle lack in grace, they amply make up for in wit. The creatures are great lovers of song. That you return with his charm is proof positive of his high regard for your potential as a bard and archer both. The charm is a crystal known as the soul of a bard. Pugnapoki asked that you bring it to me, but he meant for you to have it. It is a gift from the Moogles bestowed upon those they deem worthy of walking the path of a true bard. The soul of a bard harbors memories of the past, verses and refrains sung by the bards of old. As you gain in worldly experience, more of these memories will find expression through your being, imbuing your song with power untold. Now it may surprise you to hear that bowmen and bards are his next of kin. By the same token, mastery of song is dependent upon one's prowess as an archer. The sense in this will be lost upon you at first, but in time the realization will dawn that bow and harp are but stringed instruments played by the same hand. Go now, and let your body and soul drink deep of the melodies of old. When next we meet, I hope to see a fully fledged bard standing before me, one who exceeds even Pugnapoki's wildest expectations. The quest to learn the action perform is now available from Silken in Miketo's amphitheater in Old Quidania. But I do that later because that is something I'm not really interested in, at least not right now. So, Mage's Ballad deals unexpected damage with potency 100. Grants Mage's Ballad to all party members within 30 yards, increasing their damage by 1%. Additional effect, 20% chance to grant repertoire when damage over time is dealt by venomous bite or wind bite. Resets recast timer of Bloodletter and Reign of Death. I don't think I have either. This action does not share recast timer with any other action. Furthermore, the recast timer cannot be affected by other actions. Bard unlocked. A melody sung by the bards of old resonates in you. And to Soul Crystal very well? No. It's not yet equipped. So, Song Gauge. Singing Mage's Ballad to display the actions corresponding song gauge, indicating the effect time remaining. If the repertoire effect is triggered when Mage's Ballad is being sung, the recast timer for Blood was yeah, I had that. Okay, here we are again. Of course, not quite level 50, but we're on the way. So let's continue. Warden's Paean. Ah, the glint of determination in your eyes is a testament to your newfound strength. You put me in mind of my salad days, Serenia. Huh? You would know why I truly abandoned the battlefield we came about? That I took an arrow to the knee is what most folk believe, but it's quite clear you are not most folk. Very well, I shan't insult your intelligence with an untruth. For now, allow me to answer by saying that everything in creation is given to change, and man most of all. I was drawn to the power of song, the power to touch the very souls of man, and decided that I must pursue it. Sadly, that power is all but forgotten to this age of cynicism. Such songs as those performed by tavern bards serve no purpose beyond amusement of drunkards. But that was not always the way of it. There was a time when song could shape the outcome of conflict. Ever since nations first quarreled, armies have fielded archers wherewith they rained death upon the enemy from afar. As the battle unfolded, however, the distinction between the lines of friend and foe would grow hazy. Yet the archer's part did not end there. Yet to stay ever alert, with arrow nocked and eyes trained upon the struggle. Even as his comrades fell, turning the earth red with their blood, the archer could ill afford to avert his gaze, lest that moment cost another his life. One need not have a vivid imagination to appreciate the torrent of emotions that raged within him in that moment. Nerves near to fraying, his breast fit to burst, the archer did the only thing he could. He sang. His bow became a makeshift instrument, plucked as an accompaniment. At first, the archer sang only to still the roiling within, but his voice chanced to carry it to his comrades. It inspired those engaged in battle, lending strength to their sword arm, and to those who lay upon the precipice of death, it granted a measure of peace. Realizing the tactical potential of song, yet loath to set aside skilled archers for that purpose, armies began raising dedicated regiments of minstrels. But the members of such units were no warriors, Serenia. Fair of voice and nimble of finger, these career minstrels could find a place in the hall of any lord. Yet they knew naught of a burden borne by those who charge into battle. Those lot is to dance with death and sup on pain, and so their songs rang hollow, holding no power over the hearts of men. In eastern Lanacea, spirits are said to haunt the trees of Rain-Catcher Gully. I would ask you to travel there and await the emergence of these specters. Through force of arms, you are to release the spirits from their tormented existence, and in doing so, ease their unfathomable suffering. With such a deed might you draw forth an ancient melody from the soul of a bard. Okay. Let's go to... Okay, and where is the... On the rock? Ah, yeah, up there. How do I... Yeah. Melodies sung by the bards of old resounds within you. Welcome back, Serenia. In your eyes I see a layer of understanding, of regret, and of utility. And in your heart, it now echoes with the strains of an old song newly discovered. Embrace this song, and as you play it in battle, shall ever more powerful emotions beset and temper your soul. When your stock of tales has grown, pray return and regale me with stories of your adventures. The Warden's Paean removes one select detrimental effect from self or target party member. If a target is not enfeebled, a barrier is created nullifying the target's next detrimental effect suffered. You hear a faint voice carried on the, wind? Probably? Bard's eye view. 'Tis good to see you return, Serenia, and more seasoned for your time in the world. Call me a spoony bard, but as a man in the winter of his years, it gives me great joy to observe an adventurer in the spring of hers. This is an odd time for recollection, but it was a spring day when a bard first came to my hometown. He played the most sorrowful chords, even as his words tantalized the ear like the breath of one's first love. Many a maiden's heart was stolen during his visit, and doubtless more besides. Serenia, would you believe that common bards too were born of archers? This may seem far-fetched upon first hearing, but it isn't so far a stretch. Ask yourself this: what becomes of soldiers when conflict gives way to peacetime? Some have lives they might return to, aye, but most must needs take up a new trade to make ends meet. Well, it so happens that many who had once bent the bow took to strumming the harp. They wandered the realm, singing passionately and earnestly for war as seen through their own eyes, of sweet victories and bitter defeats, of sacrifice and cowardice. Their songs so captured the imagination of a people. Nary a day passed that the bard was not called to perform, be it in a humble tavern or some great lord's hall. Alas, their popularity proved their downfall. Intoxicated by the attentions of the masses, the bards took to embellishing their songs in a bid to outdo one another. And over time, each song was shorn of verity, till the bard's repertoire contained not one shred of truth. By now you will know that such songs have no purchase upon man's heart. Certainly a bawdy tune may set off fits of laughter in a sailor, or a sorrowful ballad summons tears from the eyes of a soft-hearted maiden. Yet these are but pale shadows of what songs can achieve. For a blessing, this decline did not escape the notice of the Mughals. As great patrons of the art, they feared that the true power of song might be lost to mankind. So it was that they labored to gather and safeguard those crystals known as souls of a bard, that they might be bestowed upon worthy men and women. Now, well as I know you relish listening to my sermons, I dare say it's past time we moved on to the practical side of the lesson. I know I've mentioned this previously, but tell me, are you perchance familiar with the ballad of a vainglorious fool? Nay? Well, that won't do at all. We must remedy this post-haste. The song recounts the massacre of Griffin Crossing, a battle that took place decades past, wherein countless Gordanian lives came to a premature end. But do forgive me, I seem to have mistaken the proper order of things. Before I begin, I must be convinced that the point of the tale will not be lost upon you. Elsewise, I will have wasted my breath in the telling of it. Now, heed well these instructions. You must make your way to Welwick Wood, and there resided a mated pair of alt goats that have but recently lost a kid. The pair has been driven mad with grief, and only death will put an end to the uncontrolled rampages. Linger in their territory until you encounter the beasts, then let fly your arrows of mercy. As you liberate them from their sorrow, so too shall your soul resonate with the echoes of poignant melody. Simple enough. Welcome back, Serenia. I can almost hear the cries of mourning that have seared themselves into your soul. That you remain unbowed by such anguish is a testament to your spirit's fortitude. Yet even as your heart swells to contain these new experiences, you must not neglect your skills with a bow. A resilient heart must needs have a robust body in which to beat. Once you have trained both to equal strength, then shall I perform for you the ballad of a vainglorious fool. Army's Paean. Deals damage, grants Army's Paean to all party members within 30 yards. Increases the direct hit rate by 3%. 20% chance to grant repertoire when this reduces weapon skill, cast time, recast time, cast spell can be stacked up to 4 times. Huh. Okay. You have faint voice carried on the winds of time. Okay, that is so far level 40. Song gauge. Yeah, you can only just play one song. I thought as much. Wouldn't make much sense otherwise, but I wanted to make sure. So before I end the episode, I wanted to actually learn to play music here. Have you come to listen to the silken strains of Simpkin, traveling troubadour and master minstrel? No. You do, however, have a look of one who lives life on the road, and on the subject of wondrous wanderings and musical expressions whereof I do mayhap have some small wisdom to offer. When I suddenly find my heart stirred by some spectacle of nature or inspiring act of daring do, I simply let the emotion of a moment flow through my fingers and into my harp. I have found no sound to be as achingly beautiful as one born from that instant of genuine joy and wistful sadness. You need no special training or knowledge to give voice to the music of the heart. Only a willingness to play the score as it writes itself across your soul. If you can accomplish such a surrender, then you have created a piece unique unto yourself. And what melody could be more precious? I knew from the moment I laid eyes upon you. Here's the woman whose spirit begs for instrumental interpretation. Pray release your inhibitions and favor the world with your performance. When using performance mode, you are strictly prohibited from performing music of any third party. You may record and upload your performance and hereby... Okay. So no copyright infringements while playing music, please. To begin, you should simply play whichever notes catch your fancy. Let whimsy carry you up and down the scales. Revel in the soaring heights and plunging depths until you find a song which resonates with your being. Painted with the experience of your adventure, the timbered tone will be yours and yours alone. I wonder what manner of music will fill the air. May the wind catch your composition and deliver it onto my covetous ears. You have learned perform. When you playing as a bard, performance action can be found in the under the character menu. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to unlock it. Then, time for more leveling.